When you step onto a tennis court, something interesting happens. You're still the same person who played well yesterday, or even just a few minutes ago during warm-up. But suddenly, when the points matter, your hands tighten, your breathing gets shallow, your legs don't feel like they're part of your body, and you start doing things you'd never normally do. Shots you can hit with your eyes closed suddenly feel impossible. And deep inside, you're asking yourself, why am I choking? Why do I fall apart when the moment gets big? And why do the pros seem so calm, so steady, so unshakable, even in the loudest, highest pressure moments? Today's episode is not about saying you're wrong for feeling that way. There's no right or wrong here. There's only understanding. And what we're going to talk about today is something that lives inside all of us. The psychology of pressure, the mind that wants to protect us, yet sometimes ends up holding us back. If you've ever felt your game evaporate the second you start caring too much, if you've ever had that sinking feeling when your arm locks up or your mind goes blank, this conversation is for you. Let's begin with something simple but often overlooked. Amateurs choke not because they are weak, but because they care. They want to do well. They want to prove themselves. They want the result to show that all the effort, practice, and hope they carry inside is real. That desire comes from a good place. But the moment the match becomes about proving something, performance shifts from freedom to fear. Instead of playing to win, you start playing not to lose. Instead of letting your body do what it knows how to do, you begin micromanaging every shot. Instead of trusting your instincts, you start questioning them. Pros, on the other hand, have trained themselves to play from a different source. It's not that they don't feel fear. They feel it just as much as anyone else. The difference is that they have practiced responding to pressure in a way that brings them back into their body rather than pushing them into their head. When the mind gets loud, the body gets tight. When the mind gets quiet, the body remembers. Pros don't avoid pressure. They've become familiar with it. They've met it over and over again, until it becomes something almost predictable. Not easy, but knowable. Think about the last time you were ahead in a match. Maybe you were up 40-15, or maybe you won the first set easily. And then something shifted. You started thinking about the finish line. You started thinking about not messing up. And suddenly, everything that felt smooth became heavy. Your swing shrank. Your footwork slowed. Your thoughts became urgent. This is one of the classic moments when amateurs choke, when they're winning. Not because they aren't playing well, but because the moment feels like something they could lose. Pros experience that too. But while an amateur gets pulled into that fear and believes it, a pro notices the fear and returns to the present. They breathe. They slow down. They gesture toward the towel, bounce the ball longer, take a moment to ground themselves. These are not rituals for superstition. They are rituals for presence. They are physical ways to remind the mind that it doesn't need to panic. Another big difference between amateurs and pros is where their attention goes during difficult moments. Amateurs focus outward. The score, the opponent, the embarrassment of missing, the spectators, the consequences. Pros focus inward. The breath, the contact point, the rhythm of the swing, the clarity of the next step. They narrow their attention deliberately, bringing the mind close to something they can control. And when attention narrows to something simple and real, fear has less room to grow. Pressure amplifies whatever story you're telling yourself. For amateurs, the story often becomes, "Don't mess this up." For pros, the story becomes, "Do the next thing well." One story creates fear. The other creates trust. But let's talk about something more emotional, something deeper, something that many players never admit. Amateurs choke because they're afraid of judgment. Not just from others, but from themselves. If you win, you feel proud. If you lose, you feel like something's wrong with you. And whether you realize it or not, Your brain starts trying to protect you from that pain. The way it protects you is by tightening up. If you lose because you choked, at least you have an excuse. I didn't play my best. On some unconscious level, choking becomes a shield. It protects your identity from the sting of a clean loss. But the thing that protects you is also the thing that limits you. Pros, over time, have rewritten that identity story. They don't see losing as proof that they aren't enough. They see losing as information. They see losing as part of the process. They don't attach their self-worth to the outcome of a point. And because of that, they have more room to breathe, more space to play, more freedom to trust their body. If you've ever wondered why your level in practice is so much higher than your level in matches, this is the reason. Practice is identity-free. No one is judging. Nothing is at stake. The nervous system stays open. The moment the mind feels seen, evaluated, exposed, everything changes. To play like a pro mentally doesn't mean you need to be fearless. It means learning how to play even when fear is present. It means understanding that pressure is not something you overcome once. It's something you learn to dance with again and again. It means allowing mistakes without allowing them to define you. It means trusting the part of you that knows how to hit a forehand without needing your conscious mind to interfere. Imagine this scenario. You're serving at breakpoint down. Your heart is racing. Your hand is shaking. Instead of thinking, I must win this point, imagine thinking, let me feel my feet on the ground. Or, let me breathe. Or, let me swing through the ball completely. These simple anchors bring you back into your body. And the moment you return to your body, your mind releases its claws. Many amateurs try to control pressure with logic. Don't think about the score. But the mind doesn't respond to commands. It responds to attention. The more you fight a thought, the louder it becomes. Pros have learned ways to redirect attention instead of resisting it. So how do you stop choking? Not with force. Not with demanding that your mind behave. You stop choking by building a different relationship with pressure. One where pressure is not the enemy, but a companion. One where you allow discomfort but don't obey it. One where your self-worth stays stable even when your performance fluctuates. You stop choking when you stop needing the result to tell you who you are. Because here's the truth. Pressure is a mirror. It shows you the stories you've been telling yourself all along. If your story is fear-based, pressure will reveal it. If your story is grounded, pressure will reveal that too. The shift from amateur mindset to professional mindset is not about talent. It's about trust. Trusting your training. Trusting your instincts. Trusting that a mistake does not erase your value. Trusting that you can meet pressure instead of running from it. When you stop trying to be perfect, your body becomes free again. When you stop playing for validation, your game becomes light again. When you stop fearing judgment, you start playing the kind of tennis that feels like you. Unrestricted, instinctive, alive. You don't need to become a professional athlete to think like one. You only need to understand that pressure doesn't define you. Your reaction to it does. And the good news is, reactions can change. As we close today's conversation, take a moment to ask yourself, when I choke, what am I really afraid of? Is it losing? Looking bad? Disappointing myself? Or is it something deeper? Something about who I believe I am? Naming it is the first step. Understanding it is the second. And forgiving yourself for it is the doorway to playing with freedom. If today's episode resonated with you and made you feel seen, I invite you to share your own story. Tell me about a moment when you choked, or a moment when you surprised yourself by staying calm. What did you learn about yourself in that moment? Your experiences might help someone else feel less alone. Thank you for listening. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're human. And pressure is part of being human. Remember this. Even in the tightest moments, you can always return to your breath, your body, and that quiet part of you that knows exactly what to do. The more you trust that place, the more the game opens up. And the more the game opens up, the more you discover the version of yourself you've been trying so hard to reach. I hope this episode helps you step onto the court with a little more self-understanding, a little more compassion, and a lot more trust. If it did, follow the show, leave a comment, or share it with someone who loves this game as much as you do. Your support helps this podcast reach others who might need exactly this message today. Until next time, take a breath, loosen your grip, trust your swing, and let the game remind you of who you are when you're free.